everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Robin.
And I'm Troy.
And this is episode 3 of our vlog. So still kind of new to us. We're figuring it out. And but we like to come and just do a weekly update, tell you about what's going on, tell you about what's happening, what's to come, and hopefully you'll find
like a whole bunch of shows from the 70s.
What's happening?
What's to come?
Moving on up. No, sorry. Anyways, but as we go along, honestly, these vlogs are just as much for us as they are for you. Yeah. We hope that you get something out of it, maybe encourage you. These are more just talking and not really scripted, not necessarily knowing where we're going to go with these. But again, these are just as much for us because one day we're going to look back at these and probably laugh our
that's all.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So, anyways, one of the things that I did want to bring up is this week was pretty chill, but we had a great night Friday night.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're thinking about things that you want to do in your life and you come up with an idea or a way to live, you don't always get encouragement from those closest to you. Some of them might be encouraging. Others might be, what are you thinking? Like, why would you want to do that? And we've kind of had a lot of that.
Well,
with our
we try to stay away from negative folks. I mean,
well, not just negative, just people that don't understand. I mean, we have people in our lives that don't understand our desire to go into full-time travel. They can't wrap their minds around it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we all like different things, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so, but one thing about travel that I have found, actually in a lot of things. So whenever I used to do yoga, there's a whole community of yogis, of people that are really into yoga. Being in dog rescue, which we don't really talk about a whole lot, but we volunteer a lot with that local organization. And I've been involved with it for over 10 years. There's a community centered around that. Mm-hmm. And likewise, there's a community of people that love to travel and sometimes travel together, other times just share their travel experiences, right?
Yeah, talk about them, hang out sometimes.
Yeah. So the neat thing, I think, because for a long time, I traveled a lot. Troy traveled when he could. His job was a little bit more logistically demanding for a long time. Yeah. And but whenever I would travel, it was usually with my dad and my son and on the trips that Troy couldn't go on. But what I found was we met a lot of people that liked to travel because we were at the resorts and we talked to them. But never once did I make a friend from any of those trips. I never talked to those people again.
Oh,
I mean, these are just random people at a resort. And I figured out the deal with it is that trying to meet up with those people again was really hard. A lot of them were just on their 1-week vacation. They had regular lives. It wasn't a lifestyle yet, but then we found cruising.
Right.
And that has opened up our eyes, not only to the way of traveling on the cruise ships, seeing the ports, but we're developing a community of people and friends that we're meeting on these ships because we're getting back on the same different ships and we're bumping into the same people that we cruised on before.
Right. Two, three ships ago.
Yeah. and it's really kind of crazy to think that. So we, if you've watched our video about our transatlantic, we had an interesting group of people that came together after we booked that cruise, and it was fabulous. And they have become friends with each other, and it has just been really, really great.
Sometimes they don't even need us around.
Yeah, a lot of times we were in the middle, and we're like, what do we need to be here for? But we had a dinner Friday night, and I said all this to say that cruising can be a community, it can be a family, and you can develop lifelong relationships. And so we wanted to tell you about the great friends that came over on Friday and kind of give you an idea of how they came into our lives, right? So who do you want to start with?
I don't know. I'm going to start with Ivy and Curtis.
Okay, so we'll start with Ivy and Curtis.
The cook from Friday.
Yeah, exactly. They came over and brought some food too. Ivy and Curtis are a fabulous couple, and I would not have met them had it not been for cruising. Right. So the long and the short of the story on this one is our friend Belle that used to live next to me. She was my neighbor for 25 years. She ended up going on her first cruise in her 70s. And she was supposed to go with a family member. The family member bugged out on her towards the end, about 30 days or so before, give or take. And she was talking to Troy. And then Troy said, hey, Robin might want to go on that cruise. So anyways.
She went.
And I didn't want, initially we thought it was just going to be her and her cousin. I didn't want her to go by herself because your first experience, especially if you're not real comfortable being a solo traveler, you need to have somebody there with you to enjoy it. And having somebody that's cruised before is even better because then they know the ins and outs. So Belle and I hopped on the cruise ship and we went together. What I didn't know was that she wasn't going per se by herself. She did have some friends on the cruise. There was just nobody with her in her cabin.
Right.
So I ended up meeting 3 couples through Belle on that cruise ship, and we had a great time getting to know each other, having dinner, hanging out. I worked on the cruise ship, of course, because I work on every trip. But in between working, I really got to know these people, and they were really fabulous. And 2 of them were the couple, Ivy and Curtis, who came over, and we've gotten together with them several times. We have plans at some point to go on a cruise with them.
Yeah, and if not live with them.
Yeah, maybe knocking on a door. But anyway, so that's one of these couples that we would not have met because, of course, whenever I came back and we had him over for dinner, I was like, you got to meet Troy. You're going to love him. I was like, Troy, these people are awesome.
So we've had several dinners and everything.
And so that's one couple. Right. We would not have known them had it not been for cruising.
CeCe and David.
Couple number 2.
I feel like we do it a date yet.
Yeah, exactly. So couple number 2 is CeCe and David. Her name is actually Christina, but I call her CeCe. And I did know CeCe from school. We lived right down the street from each other our whole childhood lives, out in the country, out in the sticks, and very small little towns. So everybody kind of knew everybody, but we were in a different grade. And we were friends as children. We were close. We'd spending each other's nights at each other's houses, birthday parties, whatever. But then whenever we got closer up into high school, and then she graduated a year before me, we lost touch back then because we didn't have unlimited long distance. We didn't have Facebook or any kind of social media.
Didn't have telephones.
Yeah, not that old. I graduated in 90, thank you. But anyways, you lose touch with people back then, and you may come back in touch with somebody or not at a reunion, but we weren't even in the same class. Right. So thank you, Facebook, because you can reconnect with a lot of people from your high school days, at least for our age group. And so we reconnected on Facebook. We were friends on Facebook for years, never talked. Like so many people, right? You've got all these people on Facebook, you never talk to them. So until we posted about that transatlantic cruise, and I posted about it and I was like, hey, if anybody's interested, this is a fabulous price. We're leaving Galveston. We're going to Spain. It is one way. If you haven't seen that video, I didn't know it was a one-way cruise whenever I booked it. But CeCe popped up and she said, just booked it. I was like, oh my God, did that just happen? So because of that, and we already had our friends Kevin and Paula going on the cruise with us, we got CeCe and David. I'd never met her husband. I hadn't seen her in over 35 years, something like that. Yeah. And so we got together. We had a dinner. And since then, CeCe and David have been in our lives. We went on the cruise with them to Spain.
Hung out a lot.
We had a great time. So she, even though I knew her as a child, was not in my life had it not been for cruising. And her husband, of course, came along with the package, and he's great. Yeah, so that's couple number 2.
The 2. Number 3 would be Amber and Brian.
And, well, we might as well talk about the other 2 at the same time.
Lee and Clint, right?
Yeah. So the next 2 couples, the next 4 people, kind of a package deal. Hey, guys.
Not a package.
So, well, for us, coming into our lives.
Right.
So we went on 2 cruises last year in 2024. We left the day after Thanksgiving. We went on one cruise on the Jewel of the Seas. We immediately got off that cruise ship, came home, slept one night, got back on a different ship the next day, Harmony of the Seas. Right.
Okay.
Now, if you know anything about these cruises or these ships, Jewel of the Seas is a much smaller cruise, a ship in the Royal Caribbean line. Harmony is an Oasis class. It's much bigger. It has more activities, more things to do. So on the Harmony of the Seas, Troy has been, before that, he's slowly getting into pickleball. God. And he is an athlete. He likes to play just about all sports. And so whenever we got on the ship, we got into a routine. We'd go have breakfast. I'd go back to the office and work in the cabin. And then he would go up and play pickleball that started at 9 o'clock, something like that?
8 o'clock.
So anyway, so the very first day that he goes out there, I don't know if he played the first day or not, but
Probably.
He was out there. Probably. So we go to dinner that night in the main dining room area, and we're at a table for 8. And 2 of the couples we got to have dinner with were these 2 couples.
Right.
And 2 of them like to play pickleball. 2 of them actually were not playing at the time, but have since gotten into the game. So this should be interesting when we all go again. But the bottom line is we met these 2 couples simultaneously at the main dining room area, and every night we would have dinner with them, and every night we got a little bit more comfortable, a little closer.
Right.
I mean, they matched the three couples of us perfectly with our demographics as far as like our ages and our interest, and some things were off, and
just a kind of loving life. I mean,
and like some of the things we had different interests, so we would talk about it.
Right.
Leah's from Scotland. I don't know what I was going to say.
Leah's from Scotland. You was going to say somebody else is from somewhere else? Or
no, I was going to say something else. I can't remember. Okay, that's the problem with these vlogs. You get a train of thought and it just completely derails. Anyways, but these two couples, I know what I was going to say. Brian and Amber had just gotten married.
Right.
Okay, so Leah's from Scotland. She's been with Kless for a while. I don't remember how many years, but Brian and Amber just recently got married right before they got on that cruise ship. So they got to tell us about their wedding and their dog, and we're not going to go into that. But we all exchanged these fabulous stories and got to know each other and on a real personal level. And all these people were very open.
Right.
Troy and I are very open to talking to people. Mm-hmm. And sometimes whenever you travel, you meet people that are, they're friendly, but they're kind of closed off. But these people weren't.
And that's fine too. I mean,
it's totally fine. But because we were all kind of in that open space and we just all talked and communicated on this level, it was incredible. So
I anticipate us being friends with every one of those couples for
a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was great. So the dinner that we had Friday night is we got all of those people together, and that was great. So now the first two couples had met at our house on a previous dinner, so they already knew each other. The second two couples, obviously from the same cruise ship, so they knew each other. So then the first two and the second two couples all got to meet. And it was great.
Right.
I mean, we had such a fabulous time.
People so underestimate just getting out with other people and hanging out with other people, having some folks over to the house. It's just a real comfortable situation. And it's good fellowship. I mean, fellowship to some level.
And I feel like it's something that we're missing. We're getting away from. It's society. It's the online presence, which, don't get me wrong, I think the internet is a great tool. I love social media for the benefits that I get out of it.
You know what I don't remember happening?
What?
Friday was anybody being on their phone. Jacking around with social media and everything.
No, not a single person.
Usually you go to dinner somewhere at a restaurant and everybody's on their phone.
And the only time I touched my phone was to take a few pictures.
Took about 3 pictures.
And I didn't even take that many. I posted on Facebook going, hey, not many photos because we were too busy having fun. Right. And that was the honest truth of it. And so, whenever you're younger, I know a lot of the younger generation is having trouble communicating and meeting people face to face and looking people in the eye when they talk to them.
Without an AI, without a
VR, virtual reality. But it's definitely something that we need to get back in touch with. I also feel like in this day of always feeling like you're going to be scammed or somebody's out to get something from you, that trust factor that I think that we grew up with meeting new people, it's hard to get around too. So, but you have to be willing to do it on occasion. Otherwise, your existence is going to be a lot lonelier than what it could be, because not everybody in your family or immediate friend circle is going to want to do the things that you want to do. So you have to find community sometimes in other ways, and travel is a way to do it. Cruising is definitely a great community. And I think that that's one of the things that we're really loving about our cruising adventure is that community.
Yeah, meeting people and hanging out and having life experience, talking about them, and just memories. They said memories. Every time you're on a cruise or something, you have some kind of memories that you're making with people.
Because at some point, all the people that we're talking to are either retired already or getting to a place where they're going to be retired while we're still around.
Right.
We've got much younger friends, and they're on the just now having kids track. Ooh. They're on the, got 20, 25 years in to do that. And we can totally be friends with all of them and travel with them as they see fit, but they're not in the ability to do it as much as we are.
We're not even going to bring up Jackie and G going on the next cruise with us.
Well, yeah, there was that. So yeah,
they couldn't make it to dinner.
We invited them to dinner, but we knew them outside of cruising.
Right.
There are across the way neighbors, and we've gotten very close with them, and they're going on their very first cruise with us our next cruise that we have planned in March, and they're getting on it, and it's a 9-day cruise. So anybody out there that's like, oh, well, I don't know, 5 days seems like a lot of time. They're getting on their very first cruise for 9 days with us, but they saw the benefit of, again, traveling with an experienced cruiser, so that way they can get on the ship. We're going to walk them through it. We're going to make sure that they have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, like I said, they were supposed to meet everybody. They'll meet everybody next time. And there'll be another person that's in our cruising family. So no matter what you are interested in life.
That's like y'all sure are bored.
Our neighbor's dog over here that we're watching is just like, whatever, I'm over it. But no matter what it is in life that you're interested in, don't be discouraged if the people closest to you don't get it, or they're not wanting to do it with you and you're so excited and you want to share it with somebody. It's okay to find other people to share that experience with. So be open to meeting other people. If you're a solo traveler, there's groups, there's all kinds of ways to meet other solo travelers. Don't let anybody slow you down from something that you really want to do. You're never too old, too young, or whatever to start your journey, but just don't let anybody else, kind of
because when they finally understand and get it, they will have missed years of what we understand now. Because it took us a little while. It took us a long time to get it and understand.
It took us a long time, and they may never get it.
Right.
And that's okay, too. Bottom line is, it's about you. It's about your life. Life is too short.
Yeah.
And it's never too late to really start living it. That's what our channel's about.
Right.
It's never too anything. Fill in your own blank. Whatever word fits for you, it's never too anything.
Not as long as you're on this side of the grass. You're on this side of the grass. That's right.
As long as you're above ground. But anyway, so that's it. That's our vlog for this week. Thank you. If you made it to the end, we appreciate it. We would appreciate it if you haven't already, like and subscribe. But let's be honest, anybody that's watching this thing to the end is probably never subscribed, because it's probably just our friends watching.
I think it's 90-something% of the people that watch our videos don't subscribe.
So our regular videos, most are not subscribed. Right. And we're going to continue growing this channel. And you know what? If you don't subscribe, that's okay. We'd love for you to. But if you're just watching, if you get any good content out of our channel, we appreciate you for supporting us by watching.
And comment in the comment section. Let us know what's on your mind, and any cruises that you might have coming up, or any adventures, any travel adventures,
or cruise questions, whatever. Right. We're here to help be a resource for you. So, anyways, that's it. We're about to go out to my dad's house and spend some time with the family.
HD.
Yeah, there you go. Bye.
Those.